Hey gang, welcome to this week's High Value Publishing session. My name is Eric Schoenfeld with Nearview Media. Really glad you could join me here if you're joining me live. If you're watching this recorded, welcome. Excited about today's topic. We're going to talk about why email, and specifically kind of broadcast email, just isn't enough for a modern media company, for today's publishers. This is probably something you already kind of know intrinsically, but I still work with a lot of publishers who are using MailChimp, Constant Contact, MyEmma, things like that. And they're not bad systems in and of themselves. It's just not enough to really help you grow your business and help you stay competitive in the market. So we're going to go through this today. I'm going to tell you kind of what I'm talking about, all the pieces, how it all fits together, and give you some of my recommendations. There's several systems out there that I think are really good for publishers and some integrations that are really good for publishers as well. Excited to be back. I got to admit, this was, I'm still coming off vacation. So we were at Steamboat Springs, Colorado last week, and I turned my brain off for a whole week. So I'm just getting back in the flow of things. But if you've never been there, it is stunningly beautiful. And this is from on top of Mount Werner there, which is the ski area. So definitely go check it out. But I'm glad to be back with you all. Want to go over some housekeeping with you guys. So this session is indeed being recorded and will be available at nearviewmedia.com, our website, on by Thursday this week. So every Thursday, the previous week's recording comes on. Any links we talk about here will be available when the recording is posted. And if you're not subscribed to us on the podcast yet, Apple, Google, Spotify, even Alexa, sign up for us on the podcast and leave us a review if you would. We'd really appreciate that. If you've got any questions during today's session, if you're live, I'll be monitoring chat. So feel free to type in chat, say hello, ask any questions you may want to do, disagree with me, whatever you want. If you're watching this recorded, just go to nearviewmedia.com and you can leave a comment there. And again, as always, I want to thank our two kind of distribution partners, What's New in Publishing. If you haven't yet signed up for that newsletter, highly recommend it. It's probably the best publication for us as media companies and publishers that's out there right now. And then Niche Media. If you haven't been to one of the super niche events, sign up for those. It is really one of my favorite media events all year round, especially now that all the COVID stuff is pretty much behind us for the most part. All right, so let's move in. Let's talk about email. And there's a bunch of terms you're going to hear thrown about it there. You're going to hear CRMs, customer relationship management systems. You're going to hear CDPs, customer data platforms. You're going to hear multi-channel marketing, omni-channel marketing, marketing automation. There's some nuances between all of these really, but in general, here's what this means. It means that for the most part, a lot of publishers, even today, still just use their email system as broadcast emails, right? We're going to send our newsletter once a day or once a week or a couple times a week. We're going to send out some broadcast emails for our advertising partners, and that's it. That's pretty much the end of it. What we're talking about here, though, is saying how can we still do that, but yet also communicate with our customers through multiple channels, whether it's broadcast emails, one-on-one emails that are triggered through automations, text messaging, chat, site messages, tons of different ways I'll show you here in a little bit. And how do we also use it as truly a customer data platform where we're aggregating information in all kinds of information about our readers, whether it be their subscription information, not their newsletter information, webinars, events, purchases, anything we may happen to have about this web browsing history. So that's what this all is. And then we tie it all together and we can do marketing automation, especially important for publishers as we are looking to grow our publications, grow our circulation, whether you're a controlled circulation, whether you're a paid circulation, or even if you're kind of a mass distribution. How do we build people and get them deeper down into our relationship with our publication? And also very important when we start dealing with things like lead generation and lead nurturing programs for our advertisers. So this is what I'm talking about. And so I'm going to focus on the term, omnichannel marketing platform. And basically, this is the money slide. This is the money slide. If you're going to take a screenshot, take it now, although this recording will be available on Thursday. But this is what you want to screenshot. This is kind of everything it does. And at the center of it is your omnichannel marketing platform. I'm calling it that because technically omnichannel marketing is where the customer, reader, is at the center of everything, and you're collecting all a bunch of data, and then you're communicating with them through multiple different channels. And that's really the way these modern platforms for publishers do work. By the way, they do not have to be ridiculously expensive. And again, I'll walk through a couple of alternatives for you guys today. But let's talk about this in general. So let's say this is your omnichannel marketing platform. Maybe it's ActiveCampaign, maybe it's HubSpot, maybe it's Omeda, maybe it's Mirabelle's Marketing Manager, right? Whatever it happens to be at the center of this. For a lot of us, we still got MailChimp, Emma, and Constant Contact here. The problem is, while those systems are getting better slowly over time, they don't do all this. And not easily do they do all of this. There's a lot of challenges around that. So let's talk, first of all, let's talk this section up here. This is the data that we're bringing into our platform about our readers. So number one, forms. Basic sign-up forms, all different kinds of forms. But you really want to look at this. It's embedded forms, it's standalone forms, it's modal pop-up forms, it's little top bar, bottom bar forms, different ways you can bring people into your environment, whether it's signing up for your newsletter, signing up for a special download or a special issue you have as kind of a lead magnet, whether it's signing up for something from one of your sponsors that you may want to do and doing some lead generation, whatever it is, some sort of form. And again, whether it's a form straight from the platform or whether it's integrating with third-party forms that you may have, like Convert Pro on a WordPress site, or Sumo, or Lead Pages, or something like that. So forms is one piece, one way we're getting data about our readers into the system. Next is website browsing history. This becomes really important because Google Analytics, nice, and it's important, but it's going to show you data kind of in the aggregate. It's going to show you, hey, your entire audience, here's the things that are most popular, here's where their general geographics are coming from, the devices, the actions, the conversions, but it's all aggregate, it's all anonymous. When we talk website browsing history, whatever platform you're using, ActiveCampaign, HubSpot, Omeda, whatever, we're tracking the individual. So it knows if I have visited the website, how often, and what specific pages I've looked at. This is important information because it gives you a bigger picture about your customer. You can begin to assign cohorts, right? So you could say, hey, if someone looks at these kinds of pages more than a couple of times, let's put them into the tag them with like a food enthusiast, or tag them with, in the B2B market, interest in this particular technology, or this particular type of engineering. So the website browsing history is important. I also like to do this for things like subscription forms, whether it's controlled subscription, paid subscription. You can almost do an abandoned cart kind of thing. If someone views your subscription, they don't actually become a subscriber, you could trigger a marketing automation to go out a day later. It says, hey, you ought to go ahead and subscribe. Here's a special offer to get them to kind of complete that transaction. So there's all kinds of things we can do with the website browsing history. Subscription data. So I also talk about your email signups and your email list. That's one thing. Your subscription lists, and this applies mostly to paid circulation and controlled circulation publications. But you want to know when you're sending out that magazine to them directly, whether digital or physical copies, you want to get the subscription data into the platform. Now, we work with some different platforms. So there's some platforms like Omeda, or even Marketing Manager from Mirabelle, where the subscription management is actually integrated into the platform. They'll handle all the subscription management, they'll integrate it into the platform, and now you can utilize that data for certain automations. You could utilize that data within email messages and other things you may do. There's other things they're doing, like we work with a lot of third-party, Cambium West, PCS. We even have some folks who are using WooCommerce, Woo subscriptions. to manage their subscriptions. And that data is being put in automatically into things like ActiveCampaign or HubSpot. So you don't have to use fully integrated. We can use third-party systems and just bring that data in, typically through the API, but there's other direct connections you can do that with as well. And then I even have some controlled circulation publications who are not audited anymore, who are just saying, you know what, we're not even doing a third-party system here. We're literally just doing, like, I've got 2 B2B companies. They're literally using ActiveCampaign is their subscription system. So their subscription form is an ActiveCampaign form. All their subscriptions are managed in there. The renewals are all managed out of there. Everything's done within ActiveCampaign. They just export the list for the printer once a month. Pluses and minuses to each way of doing this, but either way, we want that subscription data in here because this can do things like we can trigger renewals, we can trigger upsells, right? We could say, hey, send out this kind of a promotion for a paid subscription to these people, but don't send it to these people. All kinds of really smart things we can do by knowing who is a subscriber to our magazine and who is not, and when their expiration date or in the case of a controlled publication, when their subscription request date was. So we can do all kinds of things with this. Event registration attendance. This is important. If you're using a tool like an Eventbrite, it directly integrates with something like an ActiveCampaign or directly integrates with something like a HubSpot. If you're using some other third-party tools out there, they may or may not directly integrate, but you can import that data, or you could perhaps automate it through some other kinds of tools or API connections. But whether it's event registration data, webinar registration data, for example, everybody who signed up for today's webinar, you are automatically, because you signed up for today's webinar, I automatically know in my omnichannel marketing platform, I know who registered and I know who attended because I got a direct integration with Zoom off of this. So anyway, whether it's a live event or a virtual event like this, getting that event information in. E-commerce data, right? If you've got a Shopify store, like a lot of publishers sell some extra books or maybe some one-off copies. Or and I do work with a lot of publishers who also, one is a complete book seller. They have a library, they have a catalog of 8,000 different titles that they sell directly through their own e-commerce platform. We bring that data in automatically, this deep data of e-commerce data into the platform, so we know what they purchased, when they purchased, how much they've spent, all that information. Promotions, sweepstakes, contests. I'll give you a little hint. One of my favorite tools out there is called Viral Sweep. I love it because it directly integrates with HubSpot, directly integrates with ActiveCampaign. And whenever I do sweepstakes or contests out there, that anybody who signs up for that is automatically brought in to my marketing platform. And then I can add into my newsletters, do welcome sequences, upsell them into subscriptions, anything that I want. Surveys, especially important in the B2B market, but also in consumer markets. But integration with different survey tools and being able to bring that data and connect that data. Bottom line, how do we get a complete view of all the data points we have with our reader? And so there are tools that different tools will have different integrations. Just to be blunt, ActiveCampaign and HubSpot probably have the best kind of integrations for third-party tools out there. Omeda and Mirabelle's Marketing Manager, they kind of try to integrate everything together in their platform, but they also do have integrations. It's typically just a little more complicated through some APIs. So there's advantages and disadvantages to each system. If you ever want to chat with me about it, give me a call. I'll be glad to chat with you about it, and we can see what works best for your particular situation. But this is bringing in all the data. See, this is going way beyond MailChimp, Constant Contact, MyEmma, what those guys can do. Let's talk then the output, right? Now, how do we communicate with our readers? Broadcast emails. Any platform can do this. I don't care who does. Broadcast emails can do this. This is your newsletters. This is your subscription, your mass subscription promotions. This is your third-party emails that you may do for advertisers. So broadcast emails, pretty much anybody can do that. One exception being within broadcast emails, certain platforms can actually also integrate in conditional content. So within the newsletter, for example, I could stick in hey, want to see all of our subscriber-only articles? Click here to sign up. Or for a controlled subscriber, hey, your subscription needs to be renewed. Click here to renew. Whatever may happen to be, I can insert that content dynamically into broadcast emails. That's something that not all platforms can do, all the basic platforms. Marketing automation emails. This is, different kinds of triggers depending upon if someone's subscription renewal date changes, or if they submit a form, if they visit a page, or whatever data, if they enter the sweepstakes, or they just sign up for a new list, whatever it may happen to be that triggers this. And there's all different kinds of automations that can happen. We could trigger renewal sequences. We could add people to other lists. We could send data out to other systems. I'll show you that here in an example in a minute. And there's tons of and we can do marketing automation emails. So broadcast emails, marketing automation emails, though, are kind of one-to-one. They're one-to-one emails that happen when a particular event happens. MailChimp, Emma, they have some basic automations, but nowhere near as sophisticated as the 4 platforms I've mentioned thus far: ActiveCampaign, HubSpot, Mirabelle's Marketing Manager, and Omeda. So, by the way, there are others out there. Those are just the 4 that I work with the most with most of my clients. Text messages. There's text messages. I've got like one controlled circulation publisher right now. They're using ActiveCampaign in particular to actually manage their circulation. On their renewal form, on their subscription form, they actually asked, would you like text notifications when it's time to renew your subscription? If so, enter your text message here. And now that's part of their automated renewal sequence. So we can do text messages on here. I've done this with event attendance, right? When someone signs up for an event, hey, would you like text notifications about this event? And when the event comes up, there's a whole automation sequence for day 1, day 2, day 3. That includes emails, that includes text messages. There's all different kinds of things you can trigger here. Website messages. These are little, almost like chat boxes that automatically pop up. We can target to specific people. If they're like in a renewal sequence, hey, you need to renew. Hey, we're doing a flash sale. You should subscribe to this, right? So we can target little website messages. Website personalization. Let's say I come to a website and I have a kind of an email subscribe box pretty prominent on my site. Well, if I already know that person has subscribed to the email, but they're not yet a paid subscriber, that's wasted space. So with some of these systems, you can actually go in and customize your website where it'll actually change the code of your website on the fly, remove that. Instead of an email subscribe, it'll put up why not subscribe to the paid publication? Become a full-blown subscriber. Don't just get our emails. Get the magazine. Or if you already know that, you can get rid of it. Or you can put up a renewal block or whatever you may happen to do. That's just one example of some things that you can do with website personalization. So again, these omni-channel marketing platforms, they're not just email. There's broadcast email, but there's one-on-one marketing automation emails, text emails, website messages, website personalization. They will usually integrate some form of live chat. So if, especially good for subscription pages or event registration pages where you may want to have someone who can actually chat one-on-one live with that person. And all that information is integrated into that person's profile. I want you to notice I was very intentional with the arrows here, showing that all of this data down here is bidirectional. So I could do something where, I do a broadcast email and then I can instantly look back and see, okay, did that person open that email? Did they click on any links? Which links did they click on, et cetera? Same with marketing automations, text messages. You sent this text message. Did anybody respond to that? Click a link in that text message. Same with website or personalization, live chat. The live chat transcripts are integrated with that person's profile here. And then even direct mail. So I'll share with you guys a great tool that I love to use. It's called Postalytics. Postalytics, now there's others out there, but Postalytics is one that I've used in the past. We can integrate that with something like a HubSpot or an ActiveCampaign. So let's say we have a controlled circulation renewal, and they haven't, it's their third year or their second year, and we got to get them renewed before the third year because of all the postal rules and audit rules and things like that. We can have it automatically trigger a postcard or a letter, including personalizing that with data that we know from here, and just automatically send it out. And it only charges you 50 cents a send, whatever. So we're looking at everything from email, text, website messaging, live chat, postal mail, snail mail, things that we can integrate with this and then bring that data back into our omni-channel marketing platform. Again, I used to call it like an email marketing and automation consumer data platform. I'm just calling it an omni-channel marketing platform now. Basically, this is the companion technology to your website. Your website and your omni-channel marketing platform are two sides of your publishing coin that you really need to be an effective publisher in today's market. Okay, we talked about automations. Then the other thing here is all the automations, and tons of different automations, everything from flash sales that we've done where we can take different paths depending upon what someone's doing. We can do site messages, text messages, marketing automation messages, renewals for direct mail. We do automations for third parties. So for example, we have working with one publisher where we set up a really complex custom publishing, if you would. Some people are now calling it today a content studio type application with content, and we're tracking calls through CallRail, and we're tracking links through using QR codes on the magazine pages, and all this data is being brought into our omnichannel marketing platform, and then all that information is being sent out to the customer, to the advertiser. So they're seeing views of their content and email leads and phone call leads and clicks through to their website and all this kind of stuff, and they're loving it. So automations can be used for tons of different applications. And then the last thing I really want to talk about is the integrations. The integrations are huge. As you're getting more and more advanced. So everything from KPI dashboards. So we have a KPI dashboard that we set up for clients here at Nearview Media, and that we have direct integrations in that dashboard with things like ActiveCampaign and HubSpot. We can do that with a Mirabelle or with an Omeda as well, but it's a little more complex. We have to go through the API to do that, but it can be done. It's just a little more complex. Paywall authentication. So we're doing paywall authentication. Now, sometimes this is done directly with your subscription provider. So for example, we have one publisher where Cambium West is their subscription fulfillment provider of choice. They could do it 100% here, but they choose to do it through Cambium West. And then the paywall authentication is done through Cambium West, even though the subscription information is put here. But it can also be done directly from your omnichannel marketing platform if you want. Lead generation. So we may take leads that are generated for an advertiser, for example, and we could either send them an email every time a new lead comes in, or we could even do a webhook and directly push that information into their marketing platform, Salesforce or HubSpot or whatever it may happen to be. We can do a webhook and just push the lead instantly into their platform, and then they can manage those leads however they want to manage those leads. And the other one I want to throw out here, I'm leaving a ton out here, but I wanted to give you a kind of a overview. Custom audiences. So whether you're talking about Facebook custom audiences, you can basically upload your email lists into Facebook. Facebook will match those customers out there, and any customers it finds that matches it. It's all hashed, by the way. It's privacy. You don't have to worry about Facebook using your email list, but it will find people who match your existing emails. Well, why would we do that? Well, sometimes we'll do subscription offers through there, or we'll do marketing offers, or other times we'll do email lead generation campaigns in Facebook and Instagram, but we want to market it to this whole demographic and lookalike audiences, but we want to exclude our own email list. Why would I try to spend money to reacquire my own emails? No, just don't market to these people, right? So we synchronize custom audiences. We can do that with Facebook. We can do that with LinkedIn. You could do it with Twitter. You could do it with Google. With Google custom audiences, though, you got to have like a $50,000 spend you've already done on your Google ad campaigns, and there's other criteria. We don't do a lot of these because not a lot of our clients qualify for that, but regardless of which, we can push this out here and we can keep it synchronized. So instead of having to manually download these emails once a month and update LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter, we keep it automatically integrated. So that as people are coming onto our list, as they're coming off of our list, these custom audiences out at those ad platforms are automatically updated. That's really important. It's also important for another revenue product, which I'm hoping to talk about maybe next session, which is co-branded social media advertising. So that's kind of a nutshell of all of the kind of what a modern omnichannel marketing platform is for publishers. All the inputs, and these are inputs as well as outputs, and the integrations that are on there. This is what we do with a lot of our clients, and what you can do, what you need to be doing as you're thinking about this more and more. So these are the four that I work with primarily. John Bennett and I, who's my colleague, and I work with these. Active Campaign, HubSpot, Mirabelle's Marketing Manager, Omeda. Let me just give you a little bit about each of these, and there's a place for each of these. Active Campaign, let me back up here. Active Campaign I like because it's just kind of, it's all around good value, strong capabilities. You can do everything we need to within Active Campaign, integrate with anything we need to. This is a good basic platform, and depending upon the level you want to get, it's not that much more expensive than like a MailChimp, for example. HubSpot is awesome. It is I used to say the Cadillac, but Cadillac's not so much. It's the Tesla, right? It's the Tesla of the omnichannel marketing platforms out there, and it is really good at what it does. It's definitely more expensive than an Active Campaign, just to be blunt. Significantly more expensive sometimes. And just the way their pricing model is, the number of contacts we typically have as a media company kind of break HubSpot's pricing model often. You can negotiate with them and get some rates down, but I typically find Active Campaign is more cost effective. HubSpot's a little slicker, right? It's got a few more bells and whistles that you can do, but you can do anything you want in both of these platforms. Easy to integrate with anything, great APIs, great workflows and marketing automations, everything you'd want. So Mirabelle's Marketing Manager, love these guys. Good solution out there. They've got their magazine manager or their newspaper manager for circulation, and they integrate with Marketing Manager to do kind of all the email marketing automation stuff. And those two communicate with each other. So really good. I've been talking with these guys a lot recently. They're making a lot of improvements on it. They're not as big as Active Campaign or HubSpot, but they are focused on the publishing market. They're still developing out some capabilities and some tools. So for some publishers, this might be a great solution for this. And they're not ridiculously expensive either. Omeda. Love the gang over at Omeda as well. They came at this originally from a circulation provider. So we had Omeda and Hallmark, and they merged, and they're adding pieces to this. Great system, especially if you're looking at, both these systems are good, Mirabelle and Omeda, especially if you're still audited. A lot of publishers are not dealing with audits anymore, and especially if you want to fully outsource circulation and kind of put everything in one bucket. These are good programs. So all four are good. All four have their place. And if you ever want to chat about these more specifically for your particular market, give me a buzz. Let me know. So these are all four really good systems I'd recommend that you check out that can do all of this stuff. Some of them specialize in more, and some of them, like an ActiveCampaign or HubSpot, they're not, they can manage some subscription information, but they're not necessarily, you're going to usually work with a third-party system like a WooCommerce with subscriptions or Cambium West or PCS instead. So that's it in a nutshell. This is why email isn't enough for publishers anymore. It's still critical. It's still the core. I still am a huge fan in emails and building your lists and your email subscribers, but it's much, much more than that now. And hopefully this has inspired you to take a look at what you're doing and look at email as a lot more than email. It's audience database, it's email, it's multi-channel communications, and it's marketing automation. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the week, and we will see you 2 weeks from now. And I think we're going to go over co-branded social media advertising, which is something any publisher can implement and add a significant 6-digit plus revenue to their bottom line. That's it for today, guys. Have a wonderful week.